Hello my quilting friends, Leah Day here with a new tip video for the machine quilting block party. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about marking your quilt from the surface using something like golden threads paper. This is paper that's specially designed so that you can trace your quilting design on it, layer it on your quilt, and then stitch through all of those layers without having to mark anything on your quilt on the fabric itself. Everything's marked on the paper. And I had to wonder how this compares, this specially designed, slightly expensive quilting paper, to regular tissue paper that you buy at the grocery store for 99 cents. So I really want to know which one works better, how this whole process works in general, and then of course the big nutty question of how do you remove the paper at the end? So let's hop on the machine and see how these two compare to stitch and then how they compare to finish. So I'm here on the machine and you can see I've already stitched the golden threads paper in this square and I filled this in with Echo Shell and I marked this design fully and just stitched on the marked lines. And now I'm repeating the exact same process working with tissue paper. Now golden threads paper, that's the yellow, is actually designed for this. It's designed to be stitched through. Tissue paper obviously is not. So it is tearing, it is a little bit more sensitive and a lot more delicate. I've already got it kind of ripping up along this edge. It's a little in my way, so I'm just going to go on ahead and pull it off. And I noticed that immediately I touched the quilt when I was doing the earlier squares, and I touched it with slightly wet hands, like my hands gotten a little sweaty. And the tissue paper really wanted to just completely mess up and kind of almost get a little goopy. So I would say tissue paper is definitely an option if you have some on hand that's nice and flat and hasn't been crinkled up yet and you want to just give this a try, then tissue paper is a great way to get started. But I think that ultimately if you want to really mark a quilt, you really want it to be accurate and you want it to be the easiest process possible, more than likely it's going to be the golden threads paper that really works the best. It just stitches more easily and it holds more firmly as you're stitching through it. Now it'll remain to be seen which one's going to tear off easier when we go to remove the paper. So I'm going to finish stitching this completely and then I'll show you how to remove the paper from your quilting stitches. So the first step to removing the paper is to kind of pull on your quilt a little bit, just gently tug on it on the bias, that's the stretchy grain, kind of on the diagonal. And I'm doing this both with the golden threads paper and over the tissue paper. And you can already see a little bit of the difference of the two. The golden thread paper really just tears straight off right along the stitching line. It's really clean and it holds its shape. It kind of cuts right along that and it holds its shape. The tissue paper seems to more want to shred and it leaves almost a kind of, you can see it here, where it just kind of shreds into almost like that kind of roughly kind of almost toilet paper look. I don't know a better way to describe it, honestly. And that is just a little bit more time consuming. You have to run your finger across it a whole lot more in order to get it all gone. Now, that being said, I'm still able to remove it just as easily. I don't think that it's going to take that much more time to remove tissue paper from your quilt. So it just shreds up a little bit more versus the golden threads paper kind of more holds its shape and sticks together a little bit better. Now, if I quilted this on a really dense, intense scale, really tiny stitches, I would not be marking the design with paper. I would be quilting that freehand. But I'd say anything like this that's, about a 1/2 of an inch scale or bigger, that's a 1/2 of an inch between the lines of quilting, and you really want to mark it and get it accurate, I do think that marking it and quilting from the surface is going to be a good option. And here you can see these are the exact same that I have already stitched and already removed the paper, and you can see they're virtually identical. It really doesn't matter which type that you use. I do think the tissue paper took a little bit longer to remove, but overall the stitches look great, the quilt looks great, and this is a really good way of marking your quilt no matter which product you use. So after I ripped all the paper away, I realized I had one more thing to test, and that was to see if the walking foot would work with the paper as well. Because with free motion quilting, we have far less pressure being put on the paper, With our walking foot, of course, we have a lot more pressure being put down on the paper, down on the quilt surface. Now this is the Golden Threads paper. As you can see, it did pretty well. I don't see any spots where it ripped or tore away. It really held well. And then I can just rip it right off, and we can do a side-by-side comparison here with some tissue paper. So with tissue paper, I've noticed that there's kind of a shiny side and a dull side. I think you want to put this shiny side up because that's smoother. We'll drop the foot and we'll see if this will work. So I'm just going to stitch a wiggly line. Of course, this could totally be marked. I can just mark a little wiggly line here to follow. Something like that. And you can see it definitely works. Just want to be a little bit gentle. I'm not trying to grip this or pull on it as I'm stitching. I'm just allowing everything to feed through the machine. So this is definitely a method of surface marking your quilt for both free motion quilting and walking foot quilting. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing this side-by-side comparison of Golden Threads paper with tissue paper. Both materials worked. I would say the Golden Threads paper was a little bit more durable and it definitely tore away cleaner, but the tissue paper worked even when quilting with a walking foot. So I think that if you have some tissue paper on hand and you want to give this a try, definitely jump right in and give it a go. I think that you'll really like this method of surface marking your quilt with paper and being able to mark any design that you want really easily. Definitely ask any questions you have about this technique in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my videos so you get to check out new quilting tips and fun projects every single week. Until next time, let's go quilt!